Hey guys, how's it going? So you just saw Aaron and I plant this hedge of North Pole arborvitaes behind our greenhouse. So I want to walk you through this area, but there's a few other things we're going to do. We're going to update on this space back here, update on the grape trees that we're trying to grow. And I don't really know what I'm doing, but they have leaves and they look a lot better than when we first planted them. And then we do have a gator full of beautiful things. We've got some annuals and a few of the most beautiful pink butterfly bush in there to get in the ground today. But look at these. You know what is so perfect about these North Poles is that our neighbor planted North Poles as well. So theirs end about where their shed stops and then ours pick up. So it looks like it's all, I don't know, it's kind of like one of those borrowed views. We're going to borrow the view of their hedge and they can borrow the view of ours. I just love it. And this is the variety that we have in multiple other areas of our garden. They have performed beautifully for us. They grow about 10 to 15 feet tall, 3 to 5 feet wide. So they're great in a space like this where you're going to be utilizing. Like we could do, spring groves, but they get 15 feet wide. And we do want to have a space back here for potential plants that we're going to be wintering over because this is where our greenhouse is. In fact, I'm standing in the shade of the greenhouse at the moment. It's like 90 degrees today. And let me see what the zone is because I can't remember off the top of my head. Zone 3 through 8. And as you can see, we do like to space ours pretty close together. We go 3 feet apart, which, in the end, they're only 3 to 5 feet wide. So it's potential that they would only get 3 feet wide. So in that case, we want them to touch. If they get 5 feet wide, even better, then it'll be a nice thick wall right here. And then just beyond that, we do have our blue spruce tree, and then our berm is gonna start in. There will be a lane right here. We've kind of talked you through that. Just the most recent thing is we had trenching done around the property, and I think we did show you this, but they ran our frost-free water lines. And those have to be just about 4 feet. These are just shy of 4 feet deep. And then these are our frost-free water access faucets here. We've got one here. There's one in the corner, one in the center, one at the barn, and one by the play area over there. Then Chad came back through and he backfilled all the trenches halfway. The next step, and Pedro's going to be here this week, is to run our 2-wire, which is part of our irrigation system. It's how we are able to have lots of different zones. So they'll run that through the whole area, then backfill the trench again, and then Chad can start contouring. And by contouring, I mean we'll be able to form up the berm, create the lane, really level this, smooth this area out where the lawn's going to be. All of this will be cleaned up at that time. He's just going to be scraping this whole space, leveling it up. There will be gravel from the corner of the barn pretty much out to where the well is. This is the well for back here. And this area eventually will have an add-on on the back of the barn that we park our gators in and that sort of thing. But this whole area will just be clean and tidy with gravel for gator parking and then also for plants possibly. But that's where we're at back here. So nice to have these planted though. Don't they look good right there? Oh. And it feels like a little bit of a continuation because that's what's in front of our greenhouse, and all down the west side is just interrupted by the greenhouse now. Yeah, so you can see them start in here and they just keep on going all the way down. And while we're here are the grape trees. Don't they look so much better than when we started out? When we started out, it was just a stick. They were sticks and we lashed them to these bamboo stakes, and now you can see that the sticks have produced some growth, and I keep coming along. You see this right here? I keep coming along and popping growth off because I want to focus on creating a canopy up here. Same right here. So see all these growth points? I think it's just kind of like a constant of popping these off, but they're looking super duper healthy. Look at those leaves. Super great. And this one is about the height, the trunk is about the height I want to leave it. So I came back and I did a heading cut, which means I just took the tip off. It came out to about here. So I brought it back. And I'm just going to go about this kind of slow because I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm going to need to, curve a branch around, start creating a network, of its own branches or what. But anyway, things are looking good. And I do think I added biotone into the soil when I planted these off to double check, but we haven't been fertilizing. So they haven't had anything other than water since we planted them. And then here's our project. Look at this beautiful blend. Oh, so our shrub here, this is the Lo and Behold pink microchip buddleia. The thing I love about this one is that it stays small. Like it tops out at 2 feet tall by 2 feet wide. Isn't that awesome? Because a lot of butterfly bushes, they just get so enormous. So it's hard to have that sort of look in a smaller space. This variety is a zone 5 through 9. They like full sun. They don't like, you know, anything too fussy, which is great. So I think that those look really pretty along with this Super Bina. This is the pink cashmere. Aren't they so pretty? They're just got this sort of delicate look to them. Look at that. Oh, and possibly with the Hoopla Vivid Orchid. I might be getting those words mixed up. Is it Vivid Hoopla Orchid or Hoopla Vivid Orchid? I don't know. But we're seeing some cool variations here. Look at this. A little bit more white than pink. As they age out, they kind of turn this purpley color, but they're so pretty. And more importantly, they performed beautifully for us last year in our garden. We did a couple updates for you on those. And then I have some Super Tunia Mini Vista White that need to get out of their container. I mean, these plants are huge, like little shrubs. But I thought that this was just such a pleasing blend of color right here. And we've got lots of spots out in the south garden that have a lot of sun, which is what all these plants want. So we are going to get my auger first and probably a shovel for the shrubs. And we're gonna go out and get these planted. Here we go. Oh my goodness, this is going to be high impact and beautiful. So I started with the pink cashmere Super Bina down here. We've got some Vanessa Bell roses in bloom, some sedum, some Russian sage. I also have some little itty bitty pincushion flower seedlings right in this area right here. So I skipped that space. But we've got the Super Bina starting in along the edge here, and it kind of curves back in one spot. We've got our drift of Buddleia. I had 2 more, so I went and grabbed those. We'll have a drift of 5. And then I did a little pocket of the Hoopla Vivid Orchid, started back in with the Super Bina, dotted the Super Tunia Mini Vista White in here, and then kind of started in this section with a larger drift of the white. And we've got the Ringo Double Pink Roses right here, which are doing really well. And then of course I saved this spot for some kind of wonderful something. Maybe a shrub that's got red foliage, something like that, maybe like a trio of 9 barks in here. Same for back in this space. I usually save annuals for the front of borders, and then I save spots toward the back for larger things. And I popped some of the Super Bina on this side as well, because there's nothing here and I think it'll look pretty, kind of mirror some of the color. Okay, now we need to get them all in the ground. Laying them out is one thing, digging holes is something else. Let's get started. Oh my goodness, you guys, all done, and I cannot wait to see what this looks like once it has filled in. It's already beautiful. Look at this, look at all the color. And I love looking through and seeing some of the white petunias shining through. So we're gonna have to work on getting some real pretty stuff right back in here. Oh, the buddleias are really fun, knowing that those will come back year after year, and then we can work on developing this border possibly with perennials later, but how fun to pack it out with annuals. Oh, and the white just adds such a bright sparkle to the space, I think. Really am enjoying that color. And here on the other side, a little pocket of Superbena. And of course, it was on maybe my second to last hole. I cut through a drip line and had to make a repair, which it's not a big deal, but I thought, oh, you've got to be kidding me. I used the auger on I don't even know how many holes, and I never hit a drip line, and there is drip throughout this area. So only hitting it once really was pretty good. I did plant the buddleia high though, which is what they recommend, especially in areas where the drainage isn't maybe ideal. They like a well-draining soil if at all possible. So if you get in here close, you can actually see the top of the root ball here, and then this is where the native soil is. So it facilitates water drainage so it doesn't pool around the crown. They're susceptible to rotting if that happens. So I'm hopeful that by planting them high and just kind of metering the water and making sure they don't get a ton of it, I'm hoping they do real well in this area. Anyway, guys, that is going to be it for today's projects. Super happy with it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.